Hey, and welcome back to another edition of the Loaded Radio podcast. I'm Scott Penfold, and today we're diving deep into the enduring legacy of a true titan of heavy music. And that would be the late, great Joey Jordison. Now, beyond the blistering beats and the iconic mask, Joey was a multifaceted force of nature, a creative wellspring whose impact continues to resonate. Did you know, for instance, that before he was the masked whirlwind behind Slipknot's kit, Joey received his first drum kit as a complete surprise, finding it in his basement instead of an Elton John tape, or that he earned the nickname Super Ball for literally bouncing around a room in frustration after a bad show. Maybe you didn't know that the drumming powerhouse also played guitar in Murderdolls, or that his drumming style was influenced by jazz legends like Buddy Rich. These are just a few glimpses into the incredible depth of a man who truly lived and breathed music until his very last breath, even overcoming a debilitating disease like transverse myelitis to continue creating. Now, today we're going to hear from two individuals who knew Joey intimately, collaborated with him, and are now carrying forward parts of his musical spirit. We'll be talking to Kalen from Vimic, who will share stories from his time working with Joey on their upcoming album. Yes, an album that features Joey Jordison himself. And later we'll connect with Frederick L from Sinsaenum, whose band is releasing a new album dedicated to Joey's memory. But first, if you love staying connected with the heaviest music on the planet, make sure you check us out at loadedradio.com. We're your go-to source for all things metal, hard rock, and beyond. Download the Loaded Radio free app on your mobile device. Subscribe to the Loaded Radio podcast wherever you get your shows. Tune into our online radio station for 24/7 heavy jams, and smash that subscribe button on our YouTube channel for exclusive interviews and video content. All right, now let's get into it, okay? To kick things off, our first guest today is the incredible, talented Kalen from the band Vimic. Now, Vimic was founded by the late Joey Jordison and is finally going to be releasing their long-delayed debut album called Your Omen. After years of legal hurdles, the Jordison family estate is independently launching the album via Kickstarter, complete with physical formats and exclusive memorabilia. There's even a special tribute event featuring Vimic's reunion and guest drummers also planned coming up in Los Angeles later this year. So let's talk about that with the frontman from Vimic himself. I'm talking, of course, about Kalen Kalen, thanks so much for joining us on the show this week for this special edition of the Loaded Radio podcast.
I cannot complain. How you living?
Thanks for joining us on the show this week. Very cool, I think, with what's going on with the Kickstarter campaign, obviously, to release Your Omen. Incredibly successful, dude. What does it mean to the band to finally get this album out to the fans who've waited so patiently for this?
We were thrilled at but there was a lot. It was a shock for all of us. We kind of, I can speak for myself. I will speak for the other guys, but it'll all be untrue, and it would be trying to defame them, and doing all that. But for myself, I had let it go. I was, when Joey passed, it was more about healing from that. And when this came up and the opportunity came, it was so shocking and surprising and wonderful. And then it was like, oh, wow, you haven't really done all your healing yet, have you? So there's been this mix of catharsis and bittersweet stuff, but at the end of the day, we are thrilled and excited to give the fans what they want.
You know what? And I got to admit, even as a fan myself of Vimic, and I remember when Vimic first dropped, and I thought, oh, this cool new band, Joey's in and stuff. And the fact that we're finally getting this now, to me, I am crazy excited, dude. So I think this is great.
Right on. Yes, we're all pretty stoked.
Can you describe the creative process behind Your Omen? I mean, what was it like working with Joey and with Kato on this project?
So I just met Kato, and we'd done months of pre-production beforehand, lots of songs. It was basically Joey and our former guitarist Chris would work on songs, and they already had a bunch before. So I would arrive. We did this multiple times, and they would have like 2 or 3 songs for me to work on, and I would hash out 2 or 3 songs in a day and demo them in just Joey's basement in the little demo studio. Wake up the next day, there'd be 2 more, and I would write. And so we were working at a fever pitch, and that worked well for me. I don't think that things need to be suffered or toiled over. And they were riff monsters, and they had so many ideas. And Joey would just be when he wasn't doing drums or practicing or doing something else, he was working with his guitar, playing riffs. Listen to this. Like, Joey, let me finish this one. Please, God. He's one of the only people who could outpace, pretty much anyone. He was always going for it. So when we finally chose the songs, demoed them, showed the label, got everything going, and Kato got on board, we were kind of already had a thing, and Kato immediately challenged me specifically, and I'm sure the others, and said, "Hey, this is a rock album. You got to put more." I was like, "Damn it, I thought I was putting more." He helped me redefine the way I was singing. Somebody who came up, doing backgrounds and classical, and I hadn't done like snarky frontman rock in a while, and he changed that. And I know that Kato and Joey got on great, and they loved working together. So that process was crazy. It was a crazy process, but there were in the billion stories. We were with all that, and then being locked in a friggin' farmhouse at Sound Farm for months during the harvest season. So I got hay fever for part of it, which was great for vocals.
Oh, sure. I can imagine. Oh.
But it was, for all the crazy chaos and the timing stuff, it was a blast.
Well, Joey described the writing process as, going back to basics with this album, like a garage band, he said. Can you elaborate on that experience and how it really influenced the sound of the album overall?
I think what he was really going for was the idea of sitting with your buddies and making the music, not worrying about he wasn't thinking about this like, oh, we have to top this previous. This was brand new. He was thinking about writing music with friends that he liked, doing stuff that we wanted to do. And he brought me in because I'm not the classic metal, I don't have that pedigree like he does. I played with Korn, but I'm not a metal guy. I put on Tom Waits any day or some Typo Negative, but the sense of humor. As I came in, he was like, just write what you want. And, we'll work it out, and there wasn't a lot of times where he's like, dude, that's just too much. I was like, you're right. That's too much. But it was just us. There was no thought of what the producer or the label or anyone was going to say. So the basics of that, I think, was dudes write music together.
Are there any specific songs on the album that hold particular significance for you personally, given the circumstances surrounding its release?
There's one in particular that we played live, and there's videos of it. Super fans know "In Your Shadow," which was it's definitely not the heaviest song on the record, but it's a love letter, and it was written as an homage to the death of Peter Steele, who Joey actually introduced me to when we were on tour with Korn. I was a massive fan, one of the few people that I was very nearly starstruck by. He was a huge influence, and Joey, of course, worked with him on Roadrunner United. Yeah. So when I heard some of the music there, I was like, this is perfect. Those verses kind of give me a Typo vibe. I can do this. So I wrote about Peter. And now that we're doing it again, it's not just about Peter. It's about Joey. And so for that one, and some of the other boys in the band have their own people that when we sing that song and we play that song, it's about people we've lost and the people we love. So now that we got Joey in on that, that's going to be interesting to play live.
I love that you talk that passionately about Typo Negative because they're one of my favorite bands of all time. I've interviewed Johnny. I've interviewed Kenny. Never got to interview Josh yet because of what he's doing now. But yeah, I'm a massive, massive Typo fan. And the fact that you met Peter is very cool, dude, I got to say.
He filled his bus lounge. We were in Europe during the festival circuit, and Joey just got me up there. And it was an amazing thing. But yeah, so that song is so I love that it had such a specific idea. And now it's, and I always think that when the song is done, it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the listener. So, but when I sing that song live, that's going to be about Joey for that particular time. And so yeah, that's the one for me. There's a lot of great songs, and there's stories attached to them and different things, but that one probably has the most, as you humans say, emotional context. How do you feel
Open Your Omen represents Joey's musical vision and legacy all around?
I mean, that's big. That's a big concept because we never were setting out to do anything comparatively to Slipknot, and then again, like to Murderdolls or anything else. This was a brand new thing. So my only hope is that it will hold up on its own and that it can sit nicely next to these incredible things that he's done. And I hope that people just enjoy it for what it is and don't make the folly of comparison, because there's no comparison. And nothing but respect to all the other projects he did. This is what we did, and we are proud of it.
The upcoming event in Los Angeles, tell me about that.
So we got October 3rd at the Terragram Ballroom. After all the incredible help we got on the Kickstarter and booking the show, now we're in logistics mode. So there's not a lot I can say and not a lot I want to say, other than we are going to do our very best, thanks to our amazing fan base, to put on the best show that we can and make it a memorable night. I was told I am not allowed to do full frontal, which is a bummer for me.
Sure.
But we make sacrifices and compromises for the greater good, and that's fine.
Rock and roll, man. It's rock and roll, dude.
Don't worry, I got it covered.
Or uncovered, rather. But is Vimic now a collective, and will Vimic continue after this event?
We are making no plans. The only focus that the family and the five of us have right now is to get the record out and to play this show and to honor Joey with that. There are no plans for future stuff. We're not even broaching it. We're not talking about it. It was kind of an unspoken agreement. Like, guys, this show, this record. And even if that's the period at the end of the sentence and we get to satisfy or maybe unsatisfied, depending on what you think of the record.
Yeah.
But it'll be a beautiful way of getting that last piece out and giving it back. So next time I'm, posting something about a food recipe or a silly joke I did or something completely unrelated, I won't have 10 wonderful questions from wonderful people asking about the Vimic record that I couldn't answer for so long. So I'm very excited about that. But that's all we're kind of focusing on right now.
This is kind of a significant podcast when it comes to Joey, because as well on the same show, we've got Frederick from Sinsaenum is going to be on the show. What does it mean to you to share the stage with Wednesday, given his history with Murderdolls? Are there any other special guests also you might be able to mention?
We are not mentioning any special guests as of yet.
Okay.
We've got a few in the line, and we're still finalizing, so we don't want to make false promises, but we also kind of want to build up we'll slowly leak out the information.
Yeah.
But when I found out Wednesday was involved, I believe I met him once. And if I met him anytime before that, I was on a festival or something. And it was definitely after I played, because I do not remember. But when I did meet him, he was fantastic, really gracious. And finding that out, what a perfect addition to the whole theme of the evening, and just bringing closure and celebration to I used to joke with Joey. I was like, Joey's in every band. Joey's in all the bands.
Yeah.
He's uncredited on Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, but he was on it somehow. He's on everything. He's so prolific. So to get one of the other ones in is a great thing. I mean, you'd have a whole festival of bands Joey's been in or been involved in. I will say that one of the drummers we got is Ash Pearson from 3 Inches of Blood, a band that Joey produced.
Yeah.
Who's a really great guy.
Great Canadian metal band.
Yeah. So there you go. I couldn't leave you without a little tidbit. But the connection, that's one of the reasons we got him. And there's so many connections between the community and they're, affected by Joey and just the involvement. It's crazy, the spider web, how it branches. I guess do spider webs branch. My brain just broke. Reset.
Are there plans to film or record the event for fans who can't be there?
That would be an amazing thing right now. So we are just, because of finding out what we had, and very recently, we recently got the confirmation for Terragram. Now it's finding out what our situation is. Can we do this? Can we film? How big is the stage? I can tell you that I would very much like to. And if so, I'm going to be pushing for it. But right now we're so early stages of the what's possible, but I don't see why not. Worst case scenario, I'll get my old camcorder with a VHS in there, and I'll pop it by the soundboard, and it'll be awful, but it'll be metal as fuck.
It will be. It'll be very, very early 90s bootleg cool metal. Of course, Joey just a true innovator, one of the most influential drummers in metal history. What is one specific thing about Joey's musicianship or personality even that you want the world to remember?
Many, many things. A quick one I remember, because Joey's known for his giant kit. I wasn't touring with him at this point. I think he was with Scar the Martyr or somebody, one of the billion of bands that Joey was in. But right. There was an issue, and he couldn't use his big old kit. and there was a very small kit, and he was doing all this metal stuff. And the story was, and I heard it from the guys there, I think he was Scarlet Mater, that he was like, oh man, didn't fuss, just got out there on his small kit, which for Joey is it doesn't make sense, and crushed him. Joey was passionate. He was like, oh God, he would worry about screwing up. And of course, like, Joey, you're such a good drummer, don't worry. But he cared so very deeply about everything. But when it came down to getting the job done, didn't matter. He could have played with a harpoon in his head. So that is one aspect. But his honestly, his care and kindness, making sure everyone was okay. We would joke around a lot. I mean, the whole band was pretty funny. And if I was ever just deep in thought, which I'm either on or I'm off, Joey would be, dude, are you okay? I'm like, yes, Joey, I'm just not talking about farts right now with you. I'm okay. I was just thinking about swords or something. I don't know. But he was always looking out for everybody around him. And he took care of people really in a beautiful way. So the people who love Joey, it's founded. I wish you could have met your hero if you hadn't met him. He's a wonderful man. And I was very honored to be his friend.
Do you remember the last conversation you had with him?
It was talking about, this was a while ago because the pandemic hit, but it was after everything was kind of going down with the band, and he was just like, well, let's just write some more songs, and there were so many things. I was like, dude, we'll see what we can do, and everything trickled after that. It'd been a while, and unfortunately we played phone tag once, or like, I missed his call, he missed mine, vice versa, and then it just happened. And I was in Nashville, he was in Iowa, like less than 10 hours away. It was not cool. The last communication was a fucking text. But we've known each other since 2007. We were inseparable. He's one of my closest friends. Even though we weren't together for all of that time, it was always, whenever we saw each other, right back to Dragon Man, and our little spiel that we did. So I know that if Mars exists and I get to go there when I croak, he will be there making noise, and I will see him, and it'll be just the same.
Before he had passed, was there plans for Vimic to move forward and to release the albums and to keep making music? Like, that was the plan there? Things
derailed so quickly in so many ways, and we weren't even thinking about it right at that time. It was so far out of the spectrum, and there was a lot of different factors. We all still loved each other, but there was just too much craziness, so many things, and there was we wanted it, we didn't know how to do it. It was one of those. And when Joey passed, it was definitely like, I didn't think the record would ever come out. I was hopeful, but I had no idea how. And before that, same kind of thing. It was like, how do we do this? What do we have to do? And we were all trying to kind of, we sunk a lot of time and effort into it. And then when things didn't work out, we kind of all had to pick up the pieces and, oh shoot, I got to live and pay rent. So unfortunately, real world focus took a lot of our time from that. But I'm glad it's worked out now.
But just to clarify for those listening, Joey is on the album.
Oh, fuck yeah, Joey's on the album. You know what I mean? It's the whole record. So we recorded the fucking record almost a decade ago, or maybe, over a decade ago. Yeah. And it's all him. Nothing's changing there. I wanted to replace myself with some sheep and Michael Bolton sitting on a juicer, but they said no. They kept my old vocals, so we'll have those.
Bummer.
You guys will have to settle for that. But I had a vision. I had this beautiful vision of the future of rock and metal, and they said it was a terrible idea.
It's no secret that Joey did struggle with some demons, like a lot of people do. Did you observe that at all at any time in your time of knowing him?
I'm not going to talk too much about his stuff like that. That's, as a friend, but I can tell you that there was a lot of medical things that happened that affected him, and he got through those. I watched him, he lost his ability to walk from transverse myelitis, and he struggled so hard through that, but he came out on the other side, was walking around, playing the drums. You'll hear it on the record. He got past a lot of that, and his struggles were his, and I don't really want to go through that.
What do you want people to walk away feeling? What kind of vibe do you want them to carry with them when they leave?
I would like very much for them to feel exhausted and full. We're treating this show like it's the last time we're going to play, which is something I teach when I teach my students. If you're doing, especially, I mean, even if it's not extreme, that whole cliche of leaving everything out on the stage and giving your all, there's a physical, mental, spiritual price that costs you. So, I mean, it's fun to conjecturize and talk about it, but when you've actually done it, and my goal for this show is to, because of the, what this show is, I want to see how far I can push that. I know that the band is planning on giving everything they have, cliche, but I want fluids, I want to beat the shit out of myself, and hopefully everybody else has a great time. Don't beat the shit out of yourselves, but be full, jump around, have fun. Be careful with your moshing. Don't make me worry. Stop the show.
You make your mother worry.
It doesn't. I worry for you. That is the one goal, is that we all, because this is because of the fans. We did this with the fans. The Kickstarter. This is not a produced label. This is us and the fans. It's us and you guys. So whoever is there, let's fucking go.
Awesome, man. I am so hyped to hear this album front to back, man. I can't tell you just how excited I am for this. And again, I'm a big fan of the stuff you guys did drop and that we were able to already get that sample of when it came to the band. I am hoping, fingers crossed, to be at the event. So if I am, I will come and say hello. And man, I really do want to thank you so much for being a part of this particular show. And thanks so much, man. It's been awesome.
Absolute pleasure. I hope to see you in LA.
There he is, Kalen Chase. He's the frontman for the band Vimic, and cannot wait to hear that debut album in full, man. And going to be a great event down there in LA. I certainly want to be there. Hopefully you can be there too. If you're a fan of Joey Jordison, it'll be a great celebration. And just such a great raw and honest look into his time with Joey Jordison in Vimic. It's really amazing that we're getting to hear Joey's final drumming on the upcoming Vimic album, a release that I know fans have been eagerly anticipating. And it's a profound way to really experience his enduring talent. So hopefully we'll be seeing you down there in LA, and can't wait to get my hands on that new album. But as we continue to celebrate Joey Jordison's legacy, our next guest carries another important piece of that puzzle. Joey found a powerful creative outlet in the blackened death metal group Sinsaenum, and our next guest was right there with him. We're now joined by the exceptional Frederick L from Sinsaenum, who will share his own memories and shed light on how the band is honoring Joey with their new album, a powerful dedication to his memory. That new album is called In Devastation. It's set to release on August 8th via Ear Music. Pre-orders are available now. And Fred, thanks so much for joining us on this week's special edition of the Loaded Radio podcast. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
First off, thank you for joining us on the show this week. It's great to speak with you, and I am so hyped about this new release.
Well, thank you very much. That's very positive. Thank you.
And I got to tell you, the title track In Devastation, it sets a really powerful tone for this album, I think. And beyond the obvious connection to the losses you've experienced, what specific aspects of devastation did you aim to capture musically and lyrically with this album?
Good. I'm glad that we can step away from the grieving and the loss and all of that, because all the interviews I'm doing, as much as I wanted to pay tribute to my father, to Joey, to our light guy Fred. This is like extremely heavy to talk about it all the time, and honestly, I've started doing promotion a week ago, and it is heavy. So yes, okay. So apart from the obvious, I guess I wrote this album without any. There was no limitations in sense of style. I just wanted to write catchy, aggressive music, because I started writing a good portion of the album back in 2019, when when everybody was still alive and I was still in a better place mentally. So that's when I started to write stuff, and that was after recording 2 albums, writing 2 albums, recording 2 albums, and doing a half the world tour. We didn't go to the US, but we did a good portion of Europe and Asia and Australia. I guess seeing the reaction of the crowd for songs like Army of Chaos or Final Resolve, which are also like the strongest, they have the most, streams on, on those platforms. I guess that gave me like in the back of my head, I guess that's where we were going in that sense. So the song In Devastation is a good first impression of what the album is in that sense, I guess. But there's also sometimes you've got like some proggy elements and whatnot. I'm not very a good seller, am I? It goes left. I'm not selling it too well. But it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be death metal. It's supposed to be aggressive. So there's that, and there's more. There's like more ingredients to it.
You've described The Last Goodbye as the most personal song the band has done. Can you elaborate on what really made that song so personal?
Well, it's about, here we go again. It's about grief and losing someone and being left behind and the throes of depression. And I guess that's somewhere I've been, still am navigating through those interesting, waters. So I guess that's why the song, and it became obvious that the song would be dedicated to the whole album is, but specifically that song, it's obvious, that it has to be dedicated to Joey, to my father, and to Fred, and I guess I started that song, like I said, I started before with no aim. It was just like a feeling that I had, expressing sadness. And I already wanted to have like Sean to sing with his clear voice, because I thought that was that would be an interesting contrast. And I knew he was very capable of doing that. So I was like, okay, that's a new side of the band that we can show. And then once, all of that happened, it just made it clear that song would be like the, very personal and very, based on those tragic events. So there's that. And at the same time, I think even though it's sad, and we did the video for that song. The video is coming out in a couple of days, actually. And even just doing the video, which is like, you're not really playing, you're miming, right? But even doing that, I was getting very emotional. So I can only start to imagine how it's going to be when we will have to play it live. But I guess if you want to see me cry, you have to come to a show.
It sounds to me like this album was very much therapeutic in a sense for you.
Yes and no, but yes, I guess what's therapeutic right now is to talk about it on interviews, and because it's shrouded in that sort of, the loss of those people I loved, but there's more to it than that. Like if it was not written, you couldn't tell like, that chord progression sounds like you lost someone. It's more like, but because it is me, and that's who I am and who I became. I guess this is a part of it. It's very hard to separate the private life from the public life in that sense. I'd love to keep like things separated, but at the same time, I would not be paying tribute to them, and I need to. So it is my task to suck it up and just like, be strong for this. But therapeutic, not really, because so when I lost my father, I was like completely empty, and I thought I would be able to translate all the pain I was feeling, all the sadness. But I was just like there with my guitar, and there's nothing coming, like absolutely nothing. This is the first time it happened in my life. So I guess whatever I had in the past, like a little, that girl doesn't like me, then turns into music. Yeah, I've done that. I don't like that guy, I'm angry. Bim. But this was just, this was like that's a real, like I felt empty for a long, long time. And then not even a year after, Joey passed away, which is another like, fucking hell, like that hole just like, go bigger and bigger. And eventually the fact that we wanted to carry on and dedicate the album to them made me sort of like, okay, and then, so I guess, yeah, part of it is therapeutic, but there's been like a huge like period when I was just not able to come up with anything.
Well, the album is noted for, blending like progressive elements. There's some clean vocals on there. There's even some cello on there. Were these experimental additions a direct result of the kind of, I guess you could say, emotional landscape that you were sort of navigating with this album?
Some of them yes, some of them no. I guess. Like I said, I started like before in 2019, and I already wanted to experiment a bit more. Sorry, to just I don't care. I've got nothing to prove. I just want to make like a good album. And when it became clear that we wanted to to pay tribute to them, there was like no pressure. We release it when the time is right, but we want to make like a great album, an amazing album. So in that sense, that gives you like also a sort of freedom to experiment more, because it's just like, oh, I feel like there should be sitar here. Yeah, why not? Let's do that. Because I just wanted to be able to transcribe everything that, well, I was then able to express. And I guess it's not. It comes from freedom, really from I just want to do what I feel is right to make that album the best it can be.
In Devastation, it's described as being forged in grief but fueled by defiance, which I really like. I like that a lot. Can you pinpoint a specific moment or a particular track on the album where that sense of defiance really does shine through?
I guess most of the aggressive songs have that sense. I think in Devastation, if anything, like that first song has that sort of like, because it's, it's like clenched fist. There's a lot of, because obviously when we talk about, again, talking about grief and talking about Last Goodbye, and it sounds like it's a very sad album, but sadness is one element, but there's also like a lot of, spiritual lies, in Devastation, Shades of Black. A lot of those songs are actually like clenched fist, and just like, because this is what we're about. Sinsenum, first and foremost. We're not supposed to be like a grief metal band.
Right.
It's more about like, it has to be in your face and aggressive, and I think so that's that. And some of the lyrics, has that sense of defiance as well. Like in Devastation is like criticizing modern society in a sense, and so yeah, clenched fist. I know it's radio, so people can't see it, but it's clenched.
You mentioned that My Swan Song was the last song that Joey Jordison ever played live and that he loved that song. Can you share any specific memories or feelings from that performance?
Well, I didn't know it was the last time he would be playing it. So for us, it was like the last song of the tour. So we were just like, yeah, that's it. We're going home because it was long. But in retrospect, it's actually, well, it's not funny, but like morbidly funny that this is a song that he really liked the vibe of the song. And obviously when he passed away and you think of it, you're just like, this is strange, it resonates differently. But I guess that song, for a long time, I did not listen to it, and until recently, and then I put it on, and it just reminded me of like that song is like very evil, mid-tempo, and just like it has that solemn, swan song. I don't know. It's strange, but I remember when we were playing it, there was definitely like a vibe. We were not supposed to do it for the tour, and we were just like, I can't remember where we started to play it first. Maybe it was Russia or places, I think. And we're just like, okay, let's try it tonight, and that's gonna be cool. And we felt like there was like definitely a vibe. That song has and I guess we're gonna play it live too. It has to, because yeah. But that specific night, the last time, I could not tell you more than it was in New Zealand, and it was the last song. You never know. It's the last. It's the last time you say goodbye to someone. Or
having Andre Joyzy in there, who is Joey's tech, stepping on drums, it adds another real layer of, I think, emotional connection to this album. I mean, beyond his drumming skills, how does his presence in the band contribute to carrying on Joey's legacy musically and personally? I'd say too. Well,
I guess I've always wanted Sinsaenum to be like a family, like a tribe. I know it sounds cliche, but it's really started like friends, because at the time I was with Dragon Force, and sometimes we wouldn't see eye to eye, and I'm still friends with the guys, by the way, but sometimes there were friction because you spend a lot of time on the road, and I could see other bands also, which I'm not going to mention, but like some bands, like they have like one bus each, 4 members, 4 buses.
Yeah.
And I was just like, so I want to do something with like people that are my friends, and I guess we developed. So we had that friendship within the band, and then when we did the tour, which was like close to 2 months, the people that were working with us became that extended like family. So it was really like that. You could tell that everybody was like, because some of the shows were not very successful, and some of the traveling was like difficult, or a bit more difficult than what I would do with Creator or Dragon Force, put it that way. And or Joey with Slipknot before and whatnot. And but we all, we were like this, like really close together. So I guess, in a sense, the fact that we chose Andre, it was just like we kept in the family, and it made total sense, because indeed he was spending, out of everyone on the tour, he was the one spending even more time with him. It was so it just appeared. It was clear in my head, just like makes total sense. Who else, Because I didn't want to bring someone else that could, like technically perfect, but someone from outside. I think for this, to allow us to just like understand and grieve, and just like it had to be like within the family, I guess.
You previously spoken about Joey as a friend first and foremost. In what ways do you feel his friendship, beyond his musical genius, obviously, continues to influence your approach to Sinsaenum?
I mean, it's all connected to him, like he came up with the name, but also, so therefore, every time we mention the name, every time I think about the band, I think of him, so he was just like a very, very, very musical, in the sense like he loved talking about music, and we were just like quiz and singing Billy Joel together, and he was just like, and also very humble, which was great, because like he was at top of the world, so to speak, and but he was not acting like someone like this. He kept like very humble, very simple, very kind. So he would just like take the time to talk to his fans, which is something like, it's great. You see people that are half his talent and half his celebrity, or half as famous, and they're just like behaving like assholes. But he was just like, he was that that kind person, and you learn from that. You just like, it's he was like he was one of us. He never been like, I'm different, I come from this and that, and so I guess that and that will stay with us all the time. And like I said, the fact that he came up with the name, that alone makes it, he's there all the time.
Did he ever talk to you about his split with Slipknot, like how that affected him?
He was affected for sure. I think he liked the fact that we were not asking questions about it. He was talking about it if he wanted to, but I just didn't want to like, put the knife in the whatever the expression is. But I just didn't want to like poke him again and again with this. So even like when the first time we met to talk about Sinsaenum was like a few days after it had been announced that he was not in Slipknot anymore. And I was going there, it was at the Underworld, and I was going there with Stefan, and we were just like, all right, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to say? What do we say? And we just said nothing. We just like, hey man, how you doing? We waited for him to mention it. And we're just like, oh yeah, we heard. Oh, but I think what was important, because obviously it's a big band, and you must be bummed out, when that happens, whatever the reasons are. And I never, I've thought, like a friend would, like when you break up with someone, your friend is not gonna talk about your ex all the time, right? Your ex is your friend is gonna tell you just like, yeah, okay, let's move on, or let's go, let's go out, let's do this, let's focus on that, let's focus on what's positive. And I guess that's what we were doing. So never ever have I started long conversation about this. If I obviously, again, to use the same image, if your friend is talking about his ex, you listen, and you listen and you understand, but you don't bring up the subject. So
Getting into some of his other bands, of course, I mean, bands like Vimic, who are releasing the album that Joey did with them, and, Murderdolls with Wednesday 13 going on the road performing Murderdolls. How do you feel about these other bands also, paying tribute to Joey in their respective ways they're doing now?
This is great. I think there's never enough tributes to a great man. So it's good whatever they do. I'm not paying too much attention. To be fair, I know that the Joey's family is taking care of Vimic. They just told me recently because I contacted them and I said, the Sinsenum is gonna come out, and it's a tribute to him, so you're gonna see his name mentioned, and just don't be surprised. That's the way it is, and I will send you an album and da 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 da. And they were like, oh, we're actually gonna release Vimic, later this year. I was not aware of that, and I just thought, oh, this is cool. This is great, like music has been recorded. I think people deserve to listen to it. And as for Murderdolls, I think that's great too. He was part of the band, and I think those are like all very positive. If it's done correctly without any malicious, and that's the case. So I think that's great. So I like that.
It's wonderful, and and I've spoken to the guys from Vimic, and as well, I spoke to Wednesday as well about Joey, because we're doing like a show here for Joey, kind of a thing, as well as mentioning, of course, the new Sinsaenum album, which is all tying into it. But there's one thing I find that all these people that knew him personally is that there is such a loyalty to him, and there is such a loyalty to maintaining that level of respect for who he was as an individual, despite any demons he may have been dealing with. I'm astounded, and I really do admire the loyalty that people still maintain to him. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, but because he was that person, like you said, demons, that's one thing, everybody has like demons depending on the size or the shape of the demon, but
right.
But he was that great of a person that, he left an impact on you. He was funny, he was kind, humble, and very passionate about music, like extremely passionate. Like he had like those memories of bands. He was working in a gas station, and it was like bands would come and he would remember that story. Just, oh my God, he was still excited, like the same, So he was like that. And when you meet people like that, like a good person, you just, you obviously you're loyal to the person and to his image. You want people to remember the good things about him. So there's no point about, I'm doing interviews and sometimes people are trying to fish for a bit of this and that, but I think that's exactly like you said. It's perfectly worded, just like loyalty to the image that you want people to remember him the best way possible.
I guess just one more question related to Joey and for yourself. And this is going to even be kind of a stupid question because nobody really expects it, but were you absolutely surprised to hear of his passing? Did that just totally take you by complete surprise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah, let's say yes. I mean, of course, when my phone was ringing, it was just like, not ringing, blinking. I don't have sound on my phone. But it was just like, the lights, and I was just like, oh my God, But like we said, he had demons. So we knew there were demons flying around. So it wasn't 100% a surprise, but it was a surprise nevertheless, like a bad surprise.
Tracks like Shades of Black and Over the Red Wall, they're said to really push Sinsaenum into new anthemic and speed-driven territory, really. What motivated this sonic expansion? How do these tracks fit into the broader narrative of In Devastation?
Shades of Black had a different work title. It was called Piss.
Cool, that's a great working title.
Yeah, maybe I should have kept it like that. Yeah. It was called Peace, and it was very ugly, and it was sort of a continuity of the previous album, Repulsion for Humanity. It was just angry and just like a lot of like bands and like bleh. It was like and I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I've been very angry before, and I'm still angry, but I just like maybe it's a bit too much, and so I scrapped there was no choruses. It was just, and I don't know. I just instead I had that shades of black chorus, and I remember recording it and thinking, is that a bit too much? And I asked Stefan, and I said, hey, what do you think? And he was just like, no, this is cool, it's catchy as hell, so let's go for that. And yeah, and as so that's for Shades of Black. And as for Over the Red Wall, I guess I just wanted to see how hard we could go, and how fast and how brutal we could get, and that's a nice way to finish the album as well, because the previous one I was finishing the album on a very melodic. Because in the back of my head, I already probably knew that I would experiment more. And I remember doing interviews and explaining the song ends, it's a fade out, and it's a lot of melodies, and it's just like, it shows what we're capable of, of do. Maybe the next album will be more melodic. And I guess it is. So this one ends up with also a fade out, but like with like a crazy laughters. It's Attila going like and the song is like extremely brutal. And I think it's a nice, because usually you end up like a song with like something, an album with like a epic, song, and we've done that. So for this one, I just wanted to finish with like a big punch in the face.
That's awesome. And, just looking at the lineup of the band too, I mean, you got members of Mayhem in there, Doth, Loud Blast. I mean, you got some real, some extreme metal players here, man. And, and I love death metal. I love black and death metal. I'm a huge fan. It's so awesome, man. So I love your lineup. Like, how is it working with these guys in a collaborative songwriting process?
So it's working well because they're all friends. As for Attila from Mayhem, this is a little complicated with him because he's part of the band, but he's also he's part of the family. He's always been doing like backing vocals, and like when we did the tour, he was not there. He's on the promo pictures. He's on the booklet of the album. He's there, but not on the promo pictures because he's not a live member. So it's always like, even for us, it's complicated to explain, to the point that I sort of give up. It's just like, he's part of the family. And when we said the album is a tribute to Joey, and he was just like, yeah, of course I'm recording it, But he stepped out on the first album. He was like involved a lot, and then as it turns out, like he's got so much on the side. Then he was like, I'm stepping out a little bit. So on the second album, he wasn't that available. He did like only 3 songs, but he joined us on tour on 2 occasions. So he's there, he's not there. It's always been like this. We were joking about it, just like, it's like sort of, what's that in Talladega Nights? Is it Mystery Man? Now you see me, now you don't.
Oh yeah, Magic Man, yeah.
Magic Man, yeah. Now you see me, now you don't. So he's Magic Man. But as far as songwriting goes, I do most of it. Pretty much I do pretty much everything. But I leave it to the others to put their touch, obviously, because I am not the one. It's writing the stuff is one thing, but the other people, when they play it or when they sing it, obviously they put their own touch to it, and that's what makes it even better, because So,
I did want to ask as well. It's something I wanted to ask earlier, actually, is after Joey's passing, was there a consideration of discontinuing the band, or was there always that, well, we are going to continue?
Yeah. I mean, like I always say, like first, when I heard of his passing, it's just, I didn't even think of, shall we continue, shall we not? Like Sinsenum was just like, you just lose a friend, so you don't think about that first at all. And then because we called each other within the band and just like, recollecting memories and being sad and being bummed out, and it sucks, and just, my God. But we also, it became sort of natural. I don't remember, there was not a turning point like, yeah, this is how we're going to do it. But we're just like, yeah, the next album will be a tribute to him. Yeah, of course. It was like, it to me, it didn't make sense to stop at any moment. It didn't cross my mind. I don't think it crossed the others' mind as well. It was just like clear that we would carry on, and it made total sense. Not in a, like I said, no, it's not in a morbid way. And I've been very. I'm trying to gauge. So obviously, when I do interviews and people ask a lot about Joey, I'm answering, and that's fine. But I never wanted this to be to use his death or name as clickbait. So it's sometimes a little complicated because if you don't mention him, then it's completely, that's heartless, and this is completely wrong because it's really a tribute to him. But at the same time, I never wanted this to become, get it because that's him. So it's always like I have to be very careful with this, and it's a little complicated. And I've been working on the press release, for example. I didn't want his name to be there all the time, and that's what I told the family as well when I reached them. I said, I'm really trying to make this like the right way. There's no right or wrong way, but I don't want this to be like Joey Jordison's blah. It's complicated. It's hard to find the right balance. But I'm trying to navigate as much as correctly as I can. But
of course. You've got the tour coming up in October. And after such an emotionally charged album, what are your expectations for these live performances?
Crying.
Yeah.
Crying. But no, I mean, I think, like I said, I think we're going to focus on the catchiness and the aggression and the clenched fist and that sort of energy. I want this to be a celebration because that's what it's supposed to be. It's music. And if we have like one or two songs, if we play Last Goodbye and My Swan songs, those songs obviously will be like, charged emotionally, like because of what they talk about, what they deal with, and what they, what it will remind us of. But I don't, it has to be a celebration. So it's supposed to be a good time. I don't want people to go there and be like, oh my God, yeah, did you go and see them? Oh yeah, that was sad. There will be like a touch, like I said, if people want to talk about him, we're more than happy to talk about him. But this has to be a celebration of music and positive aggression.
Positive aggression. I like that. That's very cool. And just asking you is, how are things going with Creator? What's going on with Creator these days?
We are putting the final touches to a new album that
awesome
is sometime next year, I guess. But first, so we spent a lot of time. I spent like 2 months away. I was in Germany and then in Sweden. And we have a movie coming out in September because we had like a filming team following us the last 2 years. It started in Wacken, and then they came with us in the US, to Japan, India, and whatnot, and filming us. So it's and it's in the cinema in Germany. For a start, and we're trying to see if that picks, if it happens. I would like that to happen in France as well. Let's. But so there's that. So it's been busy. I've been busy with this as well. Busy man.
Oh, is there anything you can tell us about the new Creator album?
It's great.
Is it great? Oh, I can't wait, man. I love Creator. Like this is good. I cannot wait. Is it really?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's for us. It's I mean, obviously, it always, no, it's not as good as the previous one. It's no, it is better. I think everybody agrees to say it's better than Hate You Alice, which was already cool, and that was my first one with the band. But I think this one has better songs. I mean, that's how we feel. But I'm not, I don't want to talk out of my. But I'm just saying it's gonna be great.
How is it working with Millie? I've always wanted to ask.
Horrible. No, no, it's cool. They're all easy to work with, and Miller comes with the majority of the riffs and the vocals. He works differently than me in a sense that for him the lyrics that's what's important, and from the lyrics will come the riffs and whatnot, and obviously he needs to be able to play the riff while singing. So it's a different way of building songs. So what I do, my job there is just to check like guitar melodies and solo parts and whatnot. That's what I do, and it's great because that was already the case on the first album I did with them. Is that I told them, I said I'm very passionate when it comes to music, and I have a tendency to go like, when I hear something, I'm gonna be like, yeah, we should try this, and like very not a dictator in that sense, but like very just like blah blah, giving orders, and they were like, oh no, that's cool. So they actually really trust me on this. So I'm just like, I pick things that they not always notice, and they give me that sort of freedom to arrange a bit, and that's great. So there's but it's great. Those people, I love the creator guys. The minute I joined them, it felt like I was part of the family forever. That's how we feel. So, and I'm not saying, because it sounds like very cliche, but it's really the truth. I've known Miller for a long time before I joined Dragon Force. Actually, I met him in Germany in 2003, I think, and so we've always been like bumping into each other, since then, like festivals and whatnot. And when I joined the band, there was no auditions. There was me and no one else. I'm the first one they asked, and I said yes. And I learned the songs, and I went in the rehearsal room, and I was like a little shy for like a few bars, and then that was like, that's cool. And I saw everybody smiling. I'm just like, yeah, that's it. And it really felt like I was part of the family forever. So.
Thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you over here in North America soon with Sinsaenum. That would be awesome, man.
Yeah, I hope that.
Let's make that happen. Fingers crossed, okay?
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All the best. Take care of yourself.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And that brings us to the end of a truly special episode. My immense thanks to Kalen Chase from Vimic and Frederick Leclerc from Sinsaenum. Oh, and as well, Creator. God, can't forget Creator for their candor and for sharing such personal insights into the life and music of Joey Jordison. It's clear that his spirit continues to inspire and resonate deeply with those he touched, both personally and musically. Now, Joey Jordison was more than just a drummer. He was a revolutionary artist, a loyal friend, and a relentless creative spirit who poured every ounce of his being into his craft. His impact on heavy music is immeasurable, and his journey, marked by both incredible triumph and profound struggle, reminds us of the power of dedication and the indelible mark one individual can leave on the world. He truly never stopped doing what he loved, and that legacy lives on in the music we continue to enjoy and the stories we continue to share. Thank you all for tuning into the Loaded Radio podcast. Remember to visit loadedradio.com for all your heavy music news, reviews, and interviews, as well as the 24-hour live radio station. You can also download the free Loaded Radio app. Get that there or wherever you get your apps, and subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel for more, okay? But I'm Scott Penfold from Loaded Radio. We'll talk to you again next week, and keep it heavy. Loaded Radio.